possible to get second class lower, not like first class or upper or something, but don't go below lower, because it's really, if you want to have some good schools, then acceptances, third class is not. I don't think. I don't know yet any university that accept third class, according to my knowledge. But so those who are willing to study abroad should aim higher and not fall below, like lower.
Then you find out if that particular letter the university accepted. So this is like really critical, because some university will say, okay, we will accept it for the meantime, but then when you come, we will give you a conditional admission.
Okay.
And getting conditional admissions means that when you come to Germany, you have a certain number of, let's say, months, I think maybe one semester, to write the proper English examination. And this goes to IELTS, and then the other ones that follows TOEFL, and then the other
yeah.
one. Yes. So some university allow you to come, but then with conditional admission, that within some particular semester, let's say one semester, you have to write this. And this is really difficult. I would say this is a difficult thing to combine with your studies, and then to get this written within a semester.
So that is one. And most of the times they ask for two. Most of the times they ask for, so the person that you did your thesis with is one. And in the course of your study, make sure that you definitely get closer to maybe a professor for a course that you really liked. So you create that rapport, because in reality, outside, most professors will not, or no professor will be willing to give you a recommendation if they don't know you.
Yeah.
So on a personal level, when I went to, or when I was living in China, all the my supervisor for my bachelor's degree, he was like, he studied in Norway. He was like, okay, fine. He just wrote it because he knows me. I handled like an entire class with him. I did my master's thesis with him. It wasn't a big deal. When I went to take a recommendation letter from a professor who taught me web development and mobile application development, she's called Chen. When I went to her, she told me, sit down. She gave me a seat. I just sat closer to her. And then she had two monitors. She just pushed the Word document to the other one and said, let's go through. She literally, if you read my reference letter, everything she wrote was right. Like, she talked about how my performance in class, how she got to know me in her web development class, from there to Android development, everything. You see? So it tells you how genuine the recommendation letter is. And I mean, those you are sending it to, they know for a fact that if it's coming from a professor and it's from maybe an institutional email,
Yeah.
that alone tells them that, oh, okay, maybe this is from a genuine source. But I'm trying to make a point here that you should be close to the person, so that when the person has to write something, they don't have to think about what to write for you.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew.
Welcome to Kinside TV. The program is Study Abroad. Today, we are going to discuss about things you should know before deciding to study abroad. And I have great men here. They are all studying abroad, and some of us have also completed. So today I have with me Emmanuel. He's in Germany. He has already completed his master's in computer science. Jeffrey is also in USA, currently master's student in USA. And Simon, also in Germany, has completed MSc Computer Science. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah. We started talking about things people should know once they decided to study abroad. And today we want to continue from where we reached last. We spoke about so many things, but there are more things we also need to talk about. So today I will start from Jeffrey. Let us know some of the important things we should know when we decide to study abroad.
Okay. Greetings to your viewers. For me, I think most of the important stuff, the documentation that you will need, I think it cuts across all university. Some university might add other documentation, but I think you should be able to know that your certificates and transcripts are very important. Those are the most important things because some universities have criteria for entry. So, for instance, some will accept second class lower, some will accept second class upper. Every day I tell some of my my cousins and other staffs is try as much as possible to get second class lower, not like first class or upper or something, but don't go below lower because it's really, if you want to have some good schools, then acceptances third class is not. I don't think I don't know yet any university that accept third class according to my knowledge. But so those who are willing to study abroad should aim higher and not fall below like lower. I think that is the one criteria for some good schools outside, like whether Germany, France, or the USA. And also, I think you have to have your transcripts, official transcripts. I think most of the universities have right now moved away from having a copy of your transcripts. For instance, in the US, most universities will tell you to bring what you call the WEP translation. So in these instances, they want your transcript to be translated by a certified institution in the US, which costs a lot of money. So when you are searching for universities, you have to know if you're willing to bear that cost. You know some universities accept that. For instance, my university don't accept the translation, but what they do is that your registry, your school registry, which is the body which issues most of this documentation, have to make sure that your official transcript comes from the university email. So the university email have to, like the registry have to email the school of your official transcript so that it will, I think the most important thing is that they want to erase fraud and other stuff, like people try to use other people documentation to apply for schools. So that thing you have to also put in consideration. And I think apart from the certificates, then transcripts, resume is important. Sometimes you might not even meet some of the academic requirements, but you realize that if you have a reasonable work experience, it can help the commission to, or the admission commission to enroll you. For instance, in some of my cases, I realized that some of the business courses are requiring me to have GMAT, which is like another test or certification that you need. But I was not willing to take the GMAT, so I emailed them, then told them that I don't have the GMAT, but I have a quite reasonable amount of work experiences, which are also in relation to into my field of study. So they just told me that since I have some work experience, which relates to almost like 2 or 3 years, it will fit perfectly, and they can't get it anywhere than your CV. So you don't have to go and send a weak CV and you realize that you have to change the CV. No one will take you serious. So you have to make sure that your CV is also well done. Take your time, list your experiences, and when you're doing a CV, you should know that we have academic CV and we have work CV. Don't put in, there are some basics in CVs that can come in, but your academic CV should include your dissertation, your thesis, you can put in your GPA, you can put in academic references, which will also help the admission to like kind of be able to make easy and quick decisions without taking twice about those stuff. And I think apart from transcripts, CV, certificates, what are some other stuff? I think your legal requirement, that's your passport, is needed. Your passport, I think you have to have a passport picture, and also some of them accept references, but I think some good schools which are very in high demand will accept references, and these references now people have moved. They also moved from references from you to references from your recommenders who have to, they will shoot them an email. So your professors have to now answer that email so that it can bring some level of kind of credibility. So I think if you're preparing for school, you should now be able to reach out to your professors. I think most of the time when people are in school, they don't take that thing serious. They don't have any relation with any professor. They will just be walking down the school. You enjoy your pens whole week, and all the whole week you can enjoy. At an instance when you need a recommendation, now you go to them. They will not give it to you. No one will give it to you. Person won't give it to you because I don't have any relation. I don't have any good thing to write about you. We write recommendation for people you know and can testify. You get it? Because if I'm giving a recommendation, I'm also putting my credibility on the line to know whether, in good faith, whether you are or not. So I think students who are also looking for that thing should now make sure that they have. And also some of the schools also require work recommendation. So they will tell you to give 2 academic recommendation and also 1 work relation. So you have to know that whether the place you did your national service or the place that you did your early, like it can be any internship or anything. Don't go and use your family member, your close friends. All those things are, I think, it's too easy. People write good stuff about you.
Okay.
All right. So I think apart from that, you should. I think those are the big things that you should cover, and you should also know. My last point is you should know the course that you are going to apply to, know the minimum basic requirement, because it will be so foolish that you don't research about the course and the requirements. Because, for instance, if you're going to do computer science, masters in computer science, you should know that your prerequisite requirement is that you should have a bachelor's in whether computer science or information system or IT or something. You can't bring, with all due respect, you can't bring like a bachelor in visual arts or home economics. Home economics, they even do biology and physics. Like, I want to use any other course. For instance, bachelor's in odontology, then you want to pursue a medical master's. It does not make sense. So you have to reach out, look at the course model, the requirements of it, so that you'll be able to fit it. Because it's like working for like a work application. Just meet the minimum requirements, and all the other stuffs, the admission will be able to kind of add it to it. So there's a little stuff I have to say. I think my brothers will also say something in addition.
Yeah. You have a lot. I'll come back to you. What Jeffrey has just given us is you need to, first of all, the most important thing is you check the course requirements. And after that, then you prepare those documents that he mentioned, your resume, that is CV, and your transcript. And in relation of, you have to be in a good relationship with your professors. I also have experience that I'll talk about it later. So Simon, in what Jeffrey has talked about, maybe he started from abroad and then limited it to United States. So you have also school in Germany. So just give us things, if somebody needs to study in Germany, things the person should know before starting the application process.
Well, thank you, Ken. I will start by extending my greetings to your viewers and then my colleagues here. So I think Jeffrey already said the general, I mean, it cut across. So this requirement cut across everywhere, even including Ghana university requirements. So these are, like, let's say, basic documents that you have to have. So maybe I will try and then talk a little about maybe Germany, narrow it a bit to Germany. So before you apply, you have to, for someone who want to apply to a school in Germany, you have to first determine, yes, you go to that, this the website, I think last time we spoke about it. And then you first have to, so normally they have, let's say, 3 main categories of universities in Germany. So for the start, you have to determine which kind of university you want to go. Do you
Okay.
want to go the technical universities? You want to go to apply the universities, or you want to go to the normal universities that we have? So if you have those decision in mind, then you come back to how if you want to apply it, how financial stable are you? Do you want to apply
Okay.
through uni access? You want to apply through direct to the university, or through other means? So these are also there. So if you want to apply through uni access, it means that you have to submit all your documents that Jeffrey already mentioned. You submit all these documents to uni access for them to verify your documents, to verify if those documents meet the requirement of the university. So university uni access acts as like the middle person between the university and then you, the student, coming to apply. So some university don't want to deal with students directly. So uni access check your requirements. Yes, you qualify for this, then they allow you to apply it for the course. So yes, you have to determine. If I went direct to the university because I feel this is um, a bit, let's say, cheaper and then also easier that way, because to apply through uni access you have to pay like I think €75 for the first application, and then other money also follows. So first of all, I will look for university that accept a direct application from the student, and then if you find those schools, the next thing is for you to check if those schools accept your English proficiency that you have. So some people, after graduation from Ghana, you get English proficiency letter from the as part of your academic portfolio, and then you find out if that particular letter the university accepted. So this is like really critical, because some university will say, okay, we will accept it for the meantime, but then when you come, we will give you a conditional admission.
Okay.
And getting conditional admissions means that when you come to Germany, you have a certain number of, let's say, months, I think maybe one semester, to write the proper English examination. And this goes to IELTS, and then the other ones that follows TOEFL, and then
So
the
far,
other
yeah.
one. Yes. So some university allow you to come, but then with conditional admission that within some particular semester, let's say one semester, you have to write this. And this is really difficult. I would say this is a difficult thing to combine with your studies and then to get this written within a semester. So you
Okay.
have to also be careful about this kind of the condition that comes with your admission. So you don't just accept any admission. Be careful. Find university that accepts that Ghana, our official language is English. If you find those kind of universities, it is easier for you. But then
Okay.
if you think you are also capable of writing this English proficiency examination, then it's also a plus for you, because this also gives you more opportunities in other places, because maybe if you want to go to UK, you probably also need the same kind of letters. So these are, let's say, unique requirements or document that probably you need this English proficiency. Sometimes it becomes a big trickish for people because you don't really get it clear. Oh, we are giving you admission when you come. Yeah, you have some maybe 2 semesters to take your time and then write it. But then this can also take you back to your country, because yes, this can. I know some people that the university cancel their the
Enrollment certificates.
enrollment certificate and tell them to go back, because so these are just one or two on top of what Jeffrey said. You have to consider your English proficiency, make sure that your proficiency is acceptable by the university. If it's not acceptable, you have to clarify with the university, how many semester do I have to write when I come there, or do I have to write before applying? You have to also consider also these things. And then also motivational
Letter.
so yes, motivational letter. I have been in the, let's say, IT industry for some time now, and when you are applying for job, or let's say a job or anything in Germany, motivational letter really plays a big role. Some people don't, and I have been also a tutor for 2 years. Motivational letter, I can say on authority, motivational letter are the letters that are read for your admission.
Okay.
Nobody cares about whatever you have on your grade. These before the admission office gives the number of students that apply to the professors or the reviewers to review. They already sort those who don't meet the requirement. So those who meet the requirement, the only way you get your admission is through the motivational letter that you wrote. And this is just one page, so it is easier for every professor to read through it. And then this also tells who you are. Motivational letter tells a lot about, if someone is reading it, it tells a lot about a person. Don't just go copy anything and then just put it there. You can write about anything. Why you want to study, why you want to do this, why you want to do this. And what change can you make when you get the opportunity to study the course that you are applying to? So yes, this is an appeal to your viewers who wanna apply for schools abroad. Motivational letter, it is very important. I have spoken with a few professors in the course of my doing my research assistant and tutoring. This is the only thing they have time to read. So you have to put so much effort in putting, because this is just one page, and then the person read, and sometimes, funny enough, they can just differentiate between from, let's say, AI generated, AI generated, AI generated, because you can tell from this when you are reading it, you can tell from how it sounds. It doesn't really tell us the soul of the person. And yeah, so they should really pay attention to their motivational letter, try, and then also agree or communicate with the university to find out about your English proficiency. If the current letter that you have is sufficient for you, if it's not sufficient, how many semesters do you have when you come? Do you have to do it before you come? It will be better for you to do it before coming, because when you travel to the country, my brother, my sister, there are so many things that you're gonna, so many things. Imagine you come in the winter, there's so much pressure on you. You wanna finish your coursework, you have to find some work to sustain yourself. Before you close your eyes and then open, 2 semesters is over.
Yeah.
So it's better you get all these documents. And yes, to also add up last thing, what Jeffrey said. When I was applying for university, I applied for 3 universities: Bremen, my current university I completed, and then Sutherland. It is,
Sutherland.
yes,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do cybersecurity. And my application couldn't go through because my reference I provided were the reference from my university in Ghana, that the professors, if I call them, they don't even respond. So this also says a lot. You have to have professors that you can rely on them. And then you can get reference from them. So you don't just go through the school. Sometimes you have to also make some network within the school before leaving, so you can always reach back and then get things sorted. So yeah, this will be something small I will add.
Yeah. Simon has said a lot, and then what Simon is saying is true. As I told, I have an experience. I applied for a PhD program, and I reached out to one of my professors back in Ghana to give a recommendation on my behalf, but he said that he replied my email by telling me that if not, I'm looking for a reference letter. I wouldn't have remembered him. And I thought he was joking. He did not send the recommendation letter. So I didn't get that school. So as Simon is saying, it's better you get friends, like not even friends, just get to know your professors. Just link up with them. Even if you have completed, start linking up with them because you may need them as you are going through your academic ladder. And then Simon has given us a breakdown when you want to come to school in Germany. And as he said, in Germany, there are two ways in applying. One is through Uni Access, and there are some universities you can apply direct to the university. But now, most of the universities are on the Uni Access. So as he said, if you have money, then you apply schools on Uni Access because the first one will attract 75, the subsequent one will attract 35 euros. So depending on the number of courses that you are applying for. So if you think we don't have money, then you have to do more research to get to know schools that you can apply direct to them. And also the motivational letter is about you, what your past experience, your course you did, why you chose that school, why you chose the country, and why you chose the program. And after the study, what are you going to do with the program? So we'll also have time to talk more about the motivational letter. And then as Jeffrey said, when you go to US, it's, they call it statement of purpose. And it's the same. So don't be scared. I'll get back to you, Simon, once again, and then you take us through more. But let me go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel is also has studied in China and also studied in Germany. So Emmanuel, just give us the two countries. Is there the application process? Is it the same, or there's a difference between if you want to apply school in China and or in Germany?
Yeah. All right, Kennedy, thank you very much. And then hello to all your viewers as well. So personally, I would say they are quite different.
Okay.
There are some differences between the two countries. Let's say China, let me see. China, one thing with China is that I would say it's not that tight as compared to Germany.
Okay.
Because you can directly apply to the schools in China. And also, you don't need to go too much to the extent of proving your English proficiency, especially if you're coming from Ghana. Some schools require, but others do not. Yeah. So in China, even sometimes they don't even ask for recommendation letters.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think on the more general level, I would say that some schools, not all, it's so easy to get into some schools in China than schools in Germany, because in Germany you have to go through a lot. Yeah, personally, based on my own experience, before I left China to Germany, I had to take a test to prove that I can study the course that I was coming to Germany to do, and I also went for an interview, not a visa interview. This is interview for just to say you are qualified to study in Germany, and I think they only do it for people coming from China and I think Vietnam. I don't think they do it for if you're coming from Ghana. I don't think they do it for you, but they call it APS. And what APS require from you is that you register from their site. You go I went to Shanghai, and you take a test. They give you a test related to the major that you want to study in Germany. So personally, I got a tech-related test where they asked me some stuff about software development and how I will approach certain real-world cases. Which software development methodologies would I use to approach certain software, like real-world problems? And then after that, you go for a one-on-one interview where they ask you questions. It's also more or less a bit. It's still in your domain, so it's not anything that you have to think that you should be worried about. It's most of the time related to your domain, or always related to your domain. So that is on my personal level what I think I encountered coming to Germany. And applying to my school in Germany wasn't that difficult because it's not a. In Germany, we have public universities and like private universities, and this was a private university, so it wasn't that difficult compared to applying directly to a public university. So that is my take on that. But there is whilst Jeffrey and Simon were talking, I was writing some stuff down. Jeffrey almost said everything because everything that Jeffrey said, all the documents, and I also like the fact that you mentioned that the statement of purpose is also the same as your letter of motivation, depending on what the school demands, but it's literally the same thing. So my take, or what I would like to add when it comes to your professors, is that I understand that back home it's so difficult to link up with professors. It's very, very difficult. When I studied outside, when I realized that I could even play football with my professor in China, I was surprised. We are literally like friends. Even my master's, when my professor, when my thesis supervisor for my master's degree, he doesn't even want me to call him prof. He's called Manuel, and he says, "Call me Manuel." Like that's how down he is. Like you can imagine, you can go to your professor. I mean, but I don't know. I wish it's like that back home. So generally, what I can say is that let's do our best, because even though it's difficult back home to create that rapport, but you should do your best. If you really want to travel outside at this time, it's not easy that you apply to a school and then they would let you go through without taking letter of or like recommendation letter. So you definitely have to create that rapport. First of all, at least even if you don't have one person, you have your professor that you did your thesis with. So that is one. And most of the times they ask for two. Most of the times they ask for. So the person that you did your thesis with is one. And in the course of your study, make sure that you definitely get closer to maybe a professor for a course that you really liked. So you create that rapport, because in reality, outside, most professors will not, or no professor will be willing to give you a recommendation if they don't know you.
Yeah.
So on a personal level, when I went to, or when I was living in China, all the my supervisor for my bachelor's degree, he was like, he studied in Norway. He was like, okay, fine. He just wrote it because he knows me. I handled an entire class with him. I did my master's thesis with him. It wasn't a big deal. When I went to take a recommendation letter from a professor who taught me web development and mobile application development, she's called Chen. When I went to her, she told me, sit down. She gave me a seat. I just sat closer to her. And then she had two monitors. She just pushed the Word document to the other one and said, let's go through. She literally, if you read my reference letter, everything she wrote was right. Like she talked about how my performance in class, how she got to know me in her web development class, from there to Android development, everything. You see, so it tells you how genuine the recommendation letter is. And I mean, those you are sending it to, they know for a fact that if it's coming from a professor and it's from maybe an institutional email, that alone tells them that, oh, okay, maybe this is from a genuine source. But I'm trying to make a point here that you should be close to the person, so that when the person has to write something, they don't have to think about what to write for you. Yeah. So back home, I know it's difficult, but what I can say is that if you have it in mind that after school you'll be studying outside, then try and create that rapport. Get closer to one. You have your academic supervisor as one person that you can rely on because you did your thesis with them. And also, at least in your course of study, you should find some supervisors that you really liked, or some courses that you really liked, and just get closer to those supervisors. So that is one thing that I wanted to add up. And also, the course curriculum when you want to travel outside. If you want to study outside, don't just say, okay, I want to do computer science and that is it. So when I was doing my bachelor's, I think in my second semester or so, second semester, third semester, some people dropped because there was this guy from Kyrgyzstan or so, and then the first maths we did was linear algebra. Then later we did advanced math, and no, I think we did linear algebra and advanced math. We did discrete math, and he was like, no, I don't like maths. It's too much. So then I asked myself, I know it's difficult, but I asked myself, did he see this before he applied to the school? Did he know that and these are not like optional courses, these are like electives. You can't do without them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult. I personally failed my first physics. Imagine computer science student, and the physics I was doing, they paired us with student doing physics from mechanical engineering school. So you can imagine, and the physics teacher was so strict. I mean, I wasn't doing it like computer science and engineering. This is just plain computer science. I'm not working on any lectures or stuff like that. But the physics, very difficult, very, very difficult. And you have to do physics 1 and physics 2. So what I would say is that, so as to not put you in a condition where, imagine, I felt bad for those people because the first semester starts in September and school ends in December, I think. Somewhere around December, when we are going into winter, it's very cold. And as a bachelor student, you have to wake up. You can't sleep. You have to wake up early in the morning, make sure you come to class. So I asked myself, so upon all the up and downs, all the sacrifices, you end up dropping in maybe your second semester or third semester just because of a subject. You see? So first of all, go through the course curriculum and make sure that you orientate yourself to it. Know what you're going in for. If you're somebody who doesn't like maths and you think that, oh, this course that I'm going for, this is not to scare you. I mean, it's all about the state of your mind. So if you think, oh, it's advanced math, but I can still do it, I'm ready to put in that effort. But let's say fundamentally you don't like maths at all. Maybe your basic algebra, it's even not good. Like you can't, if they tell you x plus y is equal to something, you can't even group like terms. You see? Then you should tell yourself that maybe why I'll go for it, but then I'm willing to put in that effort. Otherwise, don't go in for something. And I think in countries like Canada, I heard that now you can't switch unis or you can't switch courses. So if you go to a uni with a particular major, you can't switch. I mean, some countries are flexible. Let's say in China, like this guy switched. I think he went to do language. Some people too switch after their first or second semester to different majors. I mean, it's fine. But some countries are very, very strict. So imagine you find yourself in a place where your study permit is, or your visa you have in the country is linked to what you're doing as a student. So if you can't afford to study, that means that you are definitely going home. And this is not what I think anyone who will leave home to study outside is wishing for. Yeah. So we should always orientate ourselves to the course curriculum.
Okay.
And yeah, and also the years of studies. So
Okay.
some universities have like the cap for bachelor's is sometimes 5 years. So some have, you should do it for 3 years, but at most 5 years or at most 6 years, I think. I think in China it's at most 6 years because ours is 4 years. And even
Okay.
if you're not able to graduate, you have 2 more years to be able to graduate, no matter the courses that you have hanging in there and you want to finish them. So let's also look at that, because some people don't look at that. Some people literally, I mean, you can imagine how desperate people are to travel, that they don't, all they want is that they have an admission and they don't care about any other thing. But it doesn't just take the admission. Trust me, if you really want to study and you really know what you're doing, it will take me back to what we were saying about even writing a statement of purpose. I mean, with AI and stuff, if you really know what you're doing, you won't just randomly, even, yeah, you can go to the internet to get some guidance on how your format and everything should be. But if you have in mind what you want to do, maybe bachelor's, it's not easy because you haven't really, if you're going in for your bachelor's the first time, maybe you don't really know where you'll be majoring or something. But even after your master's or after your bachelor's, if you're going to do a master, at least you should know what you want to do. Your statement of purpose shouldn't be an ordinary statement of purpose you copy paste online or something. Yeah. So that took me to statement of purpose. But I was talking about the years of study. So you should look at the years of study, the number of years you have.
Okay.
I know people who exhausted all the years that they had to finish their bachelor's. So they had 6 years, they were not able to complete all their courses, and then they have to come. Yeah, they have to come back and redo it again. Like go either they switch to a different college to do a different major, or go and take a different course in that same major in that same college. Is it the
Wow.
school that you go into that you like, or you want to come out of school and do something for yourself? Yeah. So that is also one thing that I wanted to put out there. I think that yeah, this is all I have for now. And
Okay,
we'll
okay.
come back now.
I'll come back to you again. And
Yeah,
then as you are saying, in Germany, it's also flexible.
Yeah.
Like masters, you have up to nine
Wow.
semesters, which is 4.5 years.
That's a lot. Yeah.
The minimum is 2 years, and maximum is 4.5 years or so, or
Yeah.
5 years or so. So, but if you really mean business, then
Yeah.
you should have a target,
Yeah.
not to spend all the 5 years without having your master's degree. And then the most important thing you must said here is that once you have finished your bachelor's and you want to do masters, don't just say I want to do any course. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, just focus and know where you want to major, because it's sad that some of my friends who has already, even some of them has even completed their master, they will call you that they want to come to study abroad, and you ask them what course do you want to study, they will say anything. I was like, why can you say that
anything, yeah.
anything? No, you should have a course, a major. Maybe I want to do information science, computer science, business administration, or whatever.
Yeah, I
So
think
that is
maybe
also important, that if you are trying to study abroad, you should know the area that you want to study, and
Yeah.
even the country that you want to study.
Yeah. Very important.
You have to do all those research, know the country, know the course that you want to study, because it's not every country that when you go there to study, you will feel comfortable. But I have studied in Ukraine before, and
Yeah.
Ukraine is a beautiful country. But when you go there and you want to, because we all know that we are going to study, but we also have something in our mind that we want to
Yeah.
also work and have something. But if you
Yeah.
go to a country like Ukraine, it will be very difficult for you to work, to get a work there. So if you are planning to study abroad, first of all, you have to do research, and particularly about the country. That
Yeah.
one is very important.
Yeah.
Simon wants to say something. Let me hear you, and then
yeah, I wanted
I'll get back
to I wanted to chip in that maybe probably there's a course called anything, maybe masters in anything. So,
Masters in anything.
yeah, so when they
Yeah.
call you, you just let them know that in Germany they don't do masters
Masters in
in
anything.
anything.
In
So
anything.
maybe they should look for another course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
I think you have also encountered that before.
Yeah, so many
Yeah.
times. So
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah,
times.
yeah. So
Now the trick is that when I have someone calling me like that, I just tell the person, yeah, it's been a while since I completed school. Let me give you to Bismarck. Bismarck is still a student. So
Oh. Yeah.
yeah,
and I push the person to Bismarck.
Bismarck. Yeah.
yeah. But I think this program will help
Yeah.
those who are really serious and want to study abroad. And then the most important thing is we should get close to our professors back home.
Yeah.
If you are planning to study abroad and you don't have any professor from your previous university, if you don't have their numbers, start getting them, or start getting their emails, start getting contact with them before even asking them later that you want them to give you a recommendation letter.
Yeah.
Other than that, it will be very difficult for you. Yeah. So we have just talk about most of them, and we still have more to say. We will have a separate video and talk more about the letter of recommendation, motivational letter. That is, some people call it statement of purpose. It's very important. We'll talk more about it, how to structure it, how to write it properly. And then, let me hear you again. Jeffrey, just tell me your last words. You are unmute yourself.
When you guys were talking about your know your professor, something came in mind. Like when we were in universities in Ghana, I realized that most of okay for me the way I realized things, I realized that most of the our colleagues who were teaching assistants, or most of them were able to get their mass go out of the country very fast because
Yeah.
they were close to professors. And the professors were linking them universities and other people to. So I mean that's a little bit like I realized. And also what I want to add is if you're going for a recommendation letter, okay, that's what me I do. I don't know for others. I always go for open letter recommendations. So I don't let the the professor to give me a recommendation letter that is specific to a particular school because I know I'm applying to more than one or two schools. And if I'm applying to more than one or two schools, I don't want to go back and tell them I need another recommendation letter, he or she might get pissed. So I want an open letter whereby it's just to whom it may concern. Then you can gear towards any university. So that one you can within, for instance, a period of 1 month, you can use it to apply for more than how many schools that you want. And also the motivation letter to that one. Don't do it to whom it may concern. Tailor it according to the universities you apply. Because, for instance, you might be applying for computer science in one school in Berlin, and you're applying for probably like data analytics in one school in, for instance, in the States. So you should be able to tailor those motivation letters. You don't forget yourself. Then use the Berlin school for the school in Michigan. No one will
Okay.
take you serious. So you have to also put on. Also, you should know that most schools have application fees. They will charge you. They want money. That's one way of making money. So you should be very tactical. If some schools can waive it for you, for instance, I've never applied to a school and pay application fee because whenever I'm applying, I make sure that I contact the academic coordinator first, and I ask them, hello, please, I'm planning to come to your school. I have put in so many considerations, and I want to know if the application fee can be waived so that I can focus my other expenses on the other tuition fees and other stuff. And always, luckily for me, that's not cut across. I'm not saying that when you send an email you get it, but I'm just saying that try. Really, there's no harm in trying. So you can send an academic coordinator if the application fee can be waived. And if sometimes too, it cannot be waived instantly, but they can tell you to attend an open house or something. They have a name for calling it. That's when the university webinar, yeah. So that's when the university comes out. So all those who attended, your emails will be used to waive the application fee for you. So you have to know that the schools are plenty. For instance, you want to apply for Canada, US, Berlin, all those stuffs. All those stuffs, the minimum you can go is probably like $50 or £50 or something, and which back home it's a lot of money for some people. Most people, like those average people who want to apply, if you come to the United States, averagely the application fee is €100. Canada, probably the same thing, €100, and top schools $150 and that stuff. So you have to make sure that you also look at that and be tactical. And also my other side is those who are going for the PhD. If you're going for a PhD, make sure that you know a professor in the school. Recently, I've realized that most PhDs, some of them, instead of you bringing your own topic to develop, they will ask you to make sure that you have a professor who have accepted you and accepted your topic and other stuff. So I've not done any PhD, but that's a little information I know. So you have to put into consideration some of the professors in the university you want to go, and if they want to be your supervisor. If, like, before you do that, don't just come to someone in LinkedIn and tell him that I want you to be a professor. It does not make sense. Try and do a little background research on the professor. What the professor does, some of the research that he or she has done. So if you're able to know all those stuff, then you can tailor. You see, this world, you have to be like tactful. You can tailor your email or message to a professor based on that what he or she does. Oh, I heard that I realized that you've done a research in probably like I don't know, atomic or something. Back in school in University of Ghana, I did a similar topic on atomic, but I want to develop it and I want you to be my professor. So you create a line in that way. Even if he does not have anyone to do it, he can recommend you to another professor for you to develop it. I think for PhDs it's important, but for masters, I don't think it's much needed. And also, I think my last one is I face it in France. So that one I want you to those who want to study, because Ghana first language is English. So if you want to study in a country that does not speak English, realize one, the country you're going to, the course of study might be in English. It's okay. That's how you can apply to a school in France, a school in Hungary, a school in Germany, all those. Because remember that in Europe, apart from I think UK, then Ireland or so, no one speaks English. They speak English, but it's just a few of them. If you go to like a centralized places in France, in Germany, the dominant language is their native language. No one has time to learn anyone's language. So for your own good, if you want to fit into the country, you have long-term plans of staying in the country, please, if you go, try and learn the language. Like start with Duolingo, start and learn the language. For me, to be fair with myself, I didn't want to stay in France and I didn't learn the language. So because I didn't want to, if I stayed there for 10 years, I'm not sure I would be able to speak the language, because like within my mind, I was not ready to do it. And it's not good for me myself, because sometimes I realize that some opportunities like internship jobs, if I had some minimum level of like deep understanding of the French language, it's have been easier for me to like get all those opportunities. So if you are come with an open mind, like unless you have other plans that that one, but if you're come with an open mind, if you are in Germany, try and learn it's Dutch or something. Try and learn it at least, so that you can pick yourself up, like the way Simon speaks German. I think Cedric, then Anoche, then Emmanuel speaks Chinese. Chinese man. Okay, so that's a little bit I have. So
I thought Jeffrey was coming to say, please.
Jeffrey. You have seen that we are all laughing, but what Jeffrey is saying is true. Language is if you want to go to a country that they don't speak English, you must be ready to learn the language, because it's very important. Other than that, you'll be like it doesn't exist. There's nothing that you can do. So that is also another thing you should take into consideration. Cedric has joined us, and Cedric is also in Germany. He's also doing masters in applied computer science. Cedric,
yo,
you are welcome. You are welcome.
Thank you. Greetings to everybody. Greetings to all your listeners, and thank you for having me. First of all, sorry, pardon me for the lateness. I was occupied with a few things, hence my lateness. So, yeah.
All right. So we have spoken a lot, and then we are talking about things you should know before starting to apply, or even decided to think about studying abroad. Let's hear you. Once you have been in Germany for so many years as a student.
I'll speak on a few things. I'll touch on a few things. Possibly you guys have already spoken about it, but I mean, there's no problem with reiterating. So first things first, don't think it's gonna be easy when you come here. There's this notion we have back home, like, oh, actually, I'm traveling abroad, like greener pastures. Yo, that's a lie.
Okay.
It's a hustle field. I always tell myself and tell a couple of people that it's the same hustle as compared to back home. The only difference is that the hustle pays better here than back home, but not in every context. Let me make that clear. Not every context. Now, just to touch on what Jeffrey said, the language thing, that is very vital in the sense that let's use Ghana for instance. Myself, I'm a Voltarian. I can leave, or an Ashanti cannot just leave the Ashanti region, move to the Volta region to live there without learning the language and expect to have things easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So if you're here, if you were moving to the country, you should already make up your mind that you want to internationalize yourself, or you want to integrate yourself. Whether you plan on staying there for long or even for a short while, because that's what's going to make life easier for you. Because it's one thing I've realized being in Germany. If the Germans realize this guy's putting in an effort, like I always tell, I think I've told Simon even that before, and even Kennedy, like the Germans know you can never speak that fluent German like they do. They know that. So even when you speak and you make mistakes, they overlook it. They don't care. Some of them might correct you, but they don't care because for them, they respect the fact that you're trying. And that's the big thing for them. If they see you're trying, they will always avail themselves for you. But if they see you're not doing anything to integrate yourself, like language is one, like trying their foods, like doing stuff they do, like Germans, people say Germans love beer. Germans, sorry for my language, freaking love beer. They love football. So these are certain things you should know about a country before you travel to that country, because it makes life easy for you, because you get to integrate. And the more you integrate, the more the opportunities for you, because then now they can tell you about how things are, or job opportunities, or even connect you to their friends and all that.
Yeah.
These are some of the things on the side. Now, for the schooling, once you're here, the schooling system is different. I'm speaking from the experience of schooling in Ghana and then schooling here. The experience are totally different, which I think everybody should expect, or we already expected. But the expectation at which we thought was going to be different was even way higher. So it's like you should have that in mind. You should like have that in mind, like, it's not going to be easy. And also, it's impossible, by the way. Like, it is possible to do. It's not impossible. It is possible. So let me just leave it at that for now, and then we'll go ahead.
That's perfect. That's good. I think if you are watching till now, you have learned a lot, and you are watching Kingside TV. The program is Study Abroad. And I have great men here. We are all, I'm part of them. We are all in abroad studying, and some of us have already completed. Ima, let's listen to your last words.
Okay. Kennedy, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. So, my last words, I think anytime someone is talking, I try to grab some stuff. And Jeffrey, the reason why I was laughing is that you like saying euros too much. I don't know if you want to swap your dollars for euros. We have to take you through like maybe a whole 1 month, 2 months orientation where we try to force you to say dollars instead of euros. Yeah. Because you are no more in Europe.
Today I went to one of the offices and they told me to mention my date of birth. Then I started with 1st July. Yeah. I was like, 1st July. So like July 1st.
Yeah.
Dates, currencies.
Yeah. You pick up with time. Yeah. So Jeff brought something up about application process. So I'm someone that from my point of view, anytime I'm doing something, so far as it will take my energy, my time and energy, I try to make sure that what I'm doing at least is like even applying to a job. If I see that there's a job post and for some reason I don't meet the requirement, and there's a clear cut that I don't meet the requirements. Maybe they say you should be able to speak German, you should have 4 years of experience, and it's a lot. Like you can see that the bar is very, very high, and I think I'm not that close. I won't waste my time to go and write my cover letter and stuff. I won't put in that energy. I'll go for the low-hanging fruits, those that I know. Some people might say, you don't know what you get, so you should try. But that is from a personal point of view. It's the same with studies as well. So you would pay for most schools take application fees. So don't just use some or put some stuff together just because you say you want to study abroad. You just bring all your stuff together and apply to the schools just like that. Just ask yourself that with what you're holding, all the stuff, with your major, your current major, with all the requirements and stuff, maybe English language proficiency and stuff, do you meet it? Do you meet those stuff before you even go ahead to pay? Because don't waste your money. You pay, you say you give your money to them, and they take it, and in some weeks' time they tell you, unfortunately, we couldn't give you the admission, and your money is gone.
Yeah.
There's no compensation. So most of the times people do this mistake. So try and make sure that you go through all their requirements. Almost all the schools have it. For international students, you click and then they show you that, oh, okay, these are the requirements. You should meet this and that. You should be able, even some like Jeffrey mentioned earlier, would want you to do academic evaluation. So imagine you are so blind, because some schools would let you pay before they even tell you to upload your documents. So if you don't go, you pay and you get to the stage where you realize that, oh, they need academic evaluation for my transcripts and my degrees. Now you have to go and pay over $200 or maybe euros equivalent to get that done. And that doesn't even take a short time. It takes a while. Maybe by the time it's even ready, the deadline it's almost past. So let's do ourselves good by making sure that we meet the requirements of the schools that we are applying. Let's not just apply and throw our monies out there, because $100 equivalent in Ghana cedi is a lot. I mean, the dollar is now, the cedi is appreciating with the dollar, but let's say even some time passed, it was still a lot of money. And the last thing that I would like to add is the country of choice. I mean, we are all victims of the situation at one point. No matter what, whether you are still within the country and you're enjoying it, but you can even tell from your early days from even if you're working, you can tell that, oh, okay, I feel like this is how it feels in those early days, or this is how it even feels like in the latter days for most of us. And you should ask yourself, just do your own research and ask yourself. I mean, sometimes I tell myself that if someone gets to me and say, oh, I'm from Ghana, or if someone is coming from Ghana and wants to study abroad, I'll tell the person, go to a country that speaks English if you want to do yourself that good. That's not to say that it's an ambiguous statement, but it's just me trying to tell you that psych yourself or be ready for countries that do not speak English. So for example, I studied in China, and the only reason why I can speak a little bit of Chinese, because Chinese is very difficult, I can speak but not even write, I've forgotten most of my characters by now, is that I studied there for 4 years. 4 years is a lot to get to understand some Chinese. I mean, 4 years is a lot. Aside class, I did Chinese for 2 semesters. So I studied Chinese in class for 2 semesters. But aside that, you go to town, you're going to buy something. So through that, you perfect your Chinese. But imagine a place like Germany, 2 years. You come, your major is not even in German. You studied in English. So ask yourself, how long will it take you to pick up? And my experience back in China, even with that, it was still a problem because it was very, very difficult. And China as a country, you can't even work as a student when you're in China. Wow. That's why the issue of be careful, or you have to make sure you check the country that you're going to is very, very important. As a bachelor student, I always say that don't deceive yourself. No, even if it's in the States and you're going to do your bachelor's and you make it look like as if, oh, it's just bachelor's, maybe I'll work and use it to support my tuition, then maybe you might end up not studying. You know the number of hours you have to spend in class? You go to class literally every day. When I was doing my bachelor's, I go to class every day. And I don't know how to say it, but you can't get that. If it is master's, fine. But if it's bachelor's, forget it. That's maybe a lot. Because you go to class every day and you have a lot to learn. And even outside the classes, ask yourself that what time will you apportion in your day to do your own studies? Because you don't wait till exam to say you're going to, then you don't want to graduate knowing something. You see? So you learn on the go. So let's be realistic. If you're going to a country to study, if it is master's, oh, fine. You know that it's not too tedious. So, I mean, you can have some spare time to maybe try and get some side hustle to do or something like that. But if it's bachelor's, be very, very careful. Don't deceive yourself. Don't let anyone lie to you that if you're studying, even in Canada, and you're doing your bachelor's, oh, you can have time. Yes, maybe during your vacation, but during school time, school hours, you go to class almost every day. So, or would you ditch the class and go and work? Is that possible?
No.
Yeah. So let's be realistic. So this is what I want to add when it comes to the country of choice. You have to know that the country, if the country doesn't, English isn't their official language, ask yourself that: am I willing to learn their language? And also, can I stay there after my studies? Can I really like integrate into their system? Will I know enough after my studies to be there? Ask yourself all those questions. Otherwise, you find yourself wanting, because it's not easy to learn a third language. Let me even add the fact that for Chinese, they have over 4,000 Chinese characters.
Wow.
Those things you see, over 4,000.
Yeah, that's
4,000 Chinese
That's true.
characters. So ask yourself that how on earth? I mean, it's doable because Chinese people do. If I sit in class for maybe 1 year, if I do 1 year continuous Chinese, I can also write at least or know 4,000 characters. But it's so difficult. It takes too much dedication. And even now, forgetting about the characters, let's talk about talking. You see? So yeah, let's be realistic and think.
Yeah. Time has fast spent. So, Simon, quickly, let's listen to your last words.
Ken, I think the last thing I would say is this is really good, this program and what you are doing. This is causing some people back in Ghana to lose a lot of money because people are paying a lot of money to people to apply for universities for them. And so people should pay attention to this video because this is a free education for everybody who wanna at a point wanna study abroad or something. For the document from later on we will try to dive into the motivational letter, but then we should have it in mind that you only need one page. Don't go and write like a full book. And in Germany, structure is really important to them. So when you are applying for the university and then on their requirements, the list says that your cover letter, this letter, you have to arrange your document as the requirement goes. So it's not like they are looking for CV and then they have to go fetch it. You have to follow how the structure is from the requirement. And yeah, they like the Germans like structure. They like to have things in order. So basically, when you are arranging your document, you should also arrange it based on how the requirement is looking. Yeah, this will be my last. I wish everybody good luck, those who are applying, and mostly the application is also for application right now is getting to the end. Mostly July is getting to the end, July 20th. And then from November to March, another application time begins. So let's see, maybe by then everybody is ready to apply.
Yeah. Because the deadline for winter admission is already passed. That's it. I think some of them passed July 15 and July 20th or so. So the summer semester will start from some will start from December 15th to January 15th or February 15th.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about the deadline, how to apply it. But the most important thing, as they are saying, is you first have to check the language, the country that you want to study, because I have studied in Ukraine and now in Germany, and I can tell
international man.
It's not easy. It's not easy. So, Sadi,
can I say something and then
let's listen to your last words.
Okay.
Let's say it and add your last word.
Okay. So, first thing I'll talk about is trying to school abroad is not cheap.
Okay.
People have to have that in mind. That if you're trying to school abroad, It is expensive. And what I'm about to say is relative, but I'll still say it.
Yeah.
Don't think because you have family abroad, if you come, life is going to be easy. 9 out of 10 times, life will be more difficult for you than the regular person who came and has no family here.
Yeah.
If you put that in your mind, saying, because I have family here, like, you'll get the greatest shock of your life. Because they also have their bills to pay. They also have their things to handle. Because I think the problem comes from when some of our families abroad, when they come back home, the way they want to try and live a lavish life or project that lavish living, and makes people get the notion or the perception like these guys are living it big back where they are. So when people are coming over, they think like, oh, Charlie, my uncle is gonna do it for me, my auntie's gonna do it. Yo, that's the biggest lie you will ever hear. That will be the biggest lie you ever tell yourself. So people should have that in mind. I normally tell people, let's say for Germany for instance, let's say the proof of funds, one method of proof of funds is the blocked account.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know people like go borrow money and all that. I mean, whichever works for you, fine. But I always tell people you have to give yourself at least the first 3-4 months to know that this is the amount of time it's going to take you to settle down. So don't think the moment you come, you can get a job straight away. I'm not saying you cannot. It's possible. Like, even we knowing ourselves, it took me for like over a year to get my first job. I know one of our friends who came and under 2 months he got a job. We're all different. But if you already have the mindset and you've prepared yourself and you've budgeted like, oh, the first 4 months, I'm not working, like I'm not going to get a job. So I have to know how I'm going to live. If you come and you already find something, then that's even better for you. But if not, then you already know you've planned yourself for it, because it will take time to adjust to the system, especially like transport systems, like German transport systems don't play. The bus is not waiting for you. The train is not waiting for you. If it's supposed to leave at 11:15, it's going at 11:15. So it will take time to adjust to some of these things. So that's what I normally tell people. Give yourself 3 to 4 months to settle down. Then you find something. If you find something before that also, hallelujah, good for you. But just have that in mind. And then it will make things a bit easier for you. Another thing is you will see different things. Like you will see different cultural indifferences. And you don't have to be surprised. It might be news to you, but then the way people handle certain things, you have to know how to relate with people. Like you can't just go around judging people. Like take for instance, in Germany, smoking cigarette is super normal. So you can't use that to judge or figure out how you're going to relate with someone. It doesn't work like that. So basically, to summarize everything we've all said here, do a very thorough research of the country you want to study in if you're applying to schools in that specific country. Then know what you want to do. Then you have an idea of everything. Last thing I'll say is, in Germany, for instance, you can school in a bigger city, you can school in a smaller town. Coming from back home, looking at expenses and all that, I normally advise people, you can just apply to the smaller town schools. Those are less stressful. Those are easier to get. The application fees are less expensive. Some of them, they are even free. And some of them, you don't have to pay anything. You just send your documents directly to them online and also physically. And when you get here, cost of living in those places are cheap, considering the fact that you are converting a huge amount of money from back home and you would get here and it's very little. So it makes things a bit easier for you other than going to a bigger city. Like, let's say, as a student, like I think my brothers have already mentioned, there are certain things you cannot do away with. Like your rent is being taken on the 3rd or at most, I think between the 1st and the 6th day of the month, your rent is being taken from your account.
Yeah.
Your health insurance is either beginning or on the middle of the month is gone. Your food, I mean, that depends on you, but your semester fees, all these things you can do away with them. And then semester fee like this, it varies based on the city in which you are. If you're in a bigger city, there are more transportation, so you pay more. You can pay up to like 500 euro. I think that's the maximum for every 6 months. But for the rent is even the craziest. If you live in a place like Berlin, you can pay as much as 1,000 or 1,500 euro. Even Munich is the worst. But if you live in a smaller town, you can be paying like 250 euro, 200 euro. Someone might convert it back home and be like, hey, that's still a lot of money. But yeah, that's the cheapest you can get here in a smaller town. So know all these things, and then don't feel like, because I remember someone made a statement to me, I have to say it in Twi. The person said, hey, I didn't mean to like, why should I travel abroad and go to a village? Now, the funniest thing was, there is no village abroad, especially in Germany, because what you're buying from the supermarket here, let's say an example is Lidl. For 1 euro, if you go to Berlin, it is the same 1 euro. So there's no difference, except cost of living. So if you have that notion, get it out of your mind. If you can afford going to a big city and all that, good for you. But if you know things are tight and you still want to travel abroad, I just think it is wise to consider schooling in the smaller towns, because one, cost of living is cheap, there's less distraction, and makes life a bit easier for you. But yeah, so I would end my statement there. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's good. As Sadi is saying, when I went to Ukraine, I didn't work for a full 1 year because it's not easy to get work in Ukraine as a student. First of all, the language, and it's also another problem, and then there's not even work for students there. So when you are choosing, that's why we are more stressing on the country that you must take critical look into that. In Germany, students have only 120, now it's 140 days full-time per year, and 240 days also part-time a year. So you don't have much time to work. So as Sadi is saying, it's expensive. So you should also prepare yourself when you are traveling abroad to study. You have to have something in your account, something that you live on for maybe 2-3 months, 4 months before you get something small to assist yourself. Okay, guys, thank you for passing through, and then I think you have given us a lot. And if this is your first time watching us, subscribe to Kingside TV. Try to share so that your friends, your brothers, your sisters who are also willing to study abroad will also learn from this podcast. We will do more of this, and so anytime, any day, just subscribe to Kingside TV.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is